let's get to a very skinny dude on the mound in Tyler Glasnow, who threw a career-high tying 14 strikeouts in last night's win. And he's the first player in team history to pull that off 2 times in his career. He did that a couple years ago. Glasnow's been, since he's back, not only pretty good and getting better, but also pretty durable. I know he had some issues right when he first came back, but it's a good sign that heading into the playoffs, this is a guy that you can actually ride for some significant innings. You don't have to be like, he's just coming back. We got to be careful. We can only use him for X amount of innings. So that's a good sign. Before we get into the rest of this one, let's cue up Trisha Whitaker talking to Glasnow postgame, who I give credit, does not give just the boring answers. Who you got?
You to feel fully healthy and full go, especially in September at this point.
Yeah, it feels good to feel good, I guess. I think before I was always having elbow issues and I'd get around this amount of starts, and even before that it would just not feel great. And I think having a new UCL has done me a lot of good, and it feels a lot better to have one than to have one that doesn't work.
Last thing for you, your assessment of this team in September. The bats seem to have come alive, back to what they looked like early in the season. The bullpen has been lights out. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I think it was only a matter of time. When we had a little rut there, everyone kind of knew internally that we're going to start hitting again. And I think, everyone's kind of clicking on all cylinders right now. The offense is doing great. Bullpen's been phenomenal. It's very encouraging, so I hope we can just keep it going.
Tyler, congratulations. Thanks for the time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Guys, back to you.
Here's what I learned. Better to have UCL that works versus UCL on elbow that does not work.
And it feels good, and it feels good to feel good.
That's right.
By the way, I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet, but I want to know why he made that movie 3.5 hours.
Who, Tyler?
Yeah, because he looks like the guy in Oppenheimer.
Oh, you missed it. You weren't with us. Yeah, when we spoke to him. He was great. But so are the Rays. That's the thing. Wander Franco, I would say basically a 0% chance he's back. Maybe less than 0.
Oh, he's not.
That he's back this year.
Yeah, I would say negative.
Forever.
I would say negative
this year,
0%.
for sure. This year
he's done. Okay.
This year, him and Julio Arias have about the same chance of playing this year.
Which is 0. So Wander's not coming back. Shane McClanahan, who's your co-ace with Glasnow, or at least I would say probably ace in terms of what he's done the last year and a half. He's gone for the rest of this year for injury. Drew Rasmussen, Jeffrey Springs. You look at the Orioles side; they've been super healthy, and they're a younger
lost
team.
Bautista though. That's a big.
That's their big loss. That's true. Rays have lost more, and guess what? The Rays are playing ball.
Here's the thing about the difference though is the Orioles have been good healthy, but if you go starting pitcher, just stuff wise, I mean you're going to take Glasnow, Rasmussen, McClanahan, Savale, Eflin over Bradish, and even Kyle Gibson and the rest of those guys in Baltimore.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. It just is. It's just pure stuff-wise. And then the way Kevin Cash deploys his bullpen, kind of non-traditionally with whoever he brings in to do whatever he does, it always seems to work no matter how many guys they lose. So it's pretty amazing that the Rays are where they are. But, I mean, if you had those guys all healthy, that would be a real – I mean, wow. Who do you take out of the rotation?
Well, that's why we were so in love with them Kratz in the beginning of the season, and then they went through these injuries, so they lost some of their luster, but it's still a pain-in-the-ass playoff team that people are not going to want to face.
Not going to want to face them. Issue that I see with the Rays is the wear and tear from the season. They're really hitting right now. They're hitting homers, they're hitting everything. Josh Lau, Nate Loud, Nathan Lowe, all those guys.
Nathaniel.
He's on the Rangers.
Brandon Lau.
He's on the Rangers now.
Josh Lowe. Nathaniel
Yes.
Lowe.
Brandon Lau is a guy that he can take a team. The issue is when he gets to the playoffs, is he going to be that hot guy in the lineup? Is this starting rotation going to be allowed to go to the 5th, 6th inning? Because with a really strong bullpen like they have, is Cash going to just pull the hook on some of these guys because, we don't know them? Or would it have been bad if he had Rasmussen, if he had McClanahan, if he has Glasnow, those guys out there, is he going to pull the hook on a Zach Littell too early in the playoffs and start wearing these guys out? Because they have a huge lead, but that huge lead, I think they're up 8 games now in the wild card. They can't just rest their bullpen guys. They lean on their bullpen guys the whole way. Are they going to get too tired?
Well, are they trying to win the division? They will obviously want to win the division.
Yeah.
I don't think they're 3.5 back.
They still have the Orioles,
They
but
still want to win the division. I mean, if you win the division, you get a bye and you get to rest. If you don't, I mean, in a 3-game series, who would they? I mean, if it stays the way it is right now, in a 3-game series, they play the Blue Jays. No,
They would play whoever gets second place.
which is right now is the Mariners,
Yeah.
right? So Gilbert, Castillo, and who's the third? How am I
And
forgetting?
Miller.
Or no, the other guy, Logan Gilbert, Castillo for the Mariners. Who's the third guy? I don't know. We all
Felix Hernandez.
Felix Hernandez. Yes. But the big
it's
three
Miller.
for
Miller and Wu.
Miller, Wu, Gilbert, Castillo, and then who's the other one?
My favorite, George Kirby.
George Kirby. Okay,
Yeah,
so those
Kirby.
three will probably start against Glasnow, Eflin, Savale. That's a pretty damn good pitching matchup.
And I would say the offenses are pretty close.
The offenses are very similar.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bullpen,
that's
kind of similar.
kind of similar. That's a
That's a
hell
good
of a
matchup.
wild card best out of 3. I mean, I don't know
is.
where you would even start with that.
And both pitching staffs were kind of built the same way
Mhm.
in the sense of like their starting pitchers go whatever they go. Now, I think this is where Seattle has the advantage because they haven't just crushed their bullpen, but their bullpens were both built the exact same way. Oh, you don't want him? We'll take him. 0.2 ERA. Oh, you don't want him? We'll take him. Trent Thornton's out there. He's got like a 1.4 ERA. Sean Armstrong's in Tampa. He's got like a 0.86 ERA after bouncing around 4 different teams. Like
Robert Stevenson, are you kidding me? Holy
The guy from the
shit, Have you
Reds?
seen what they turned him into?
That's the thing. Like, if the Rays come for one of your pitchers, don't give him up. If they call you and say, "Hey, we want this guy," you say, I'm keeping him. You know something that I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
Well, that's pretty much every guy they trade for, though.
well, that's
I mean,
what I'm-
they miss on very few guys.
that's what
both
I'm
teams,
saying.
though. Both teams.
Yeah.
The Mariners and the Reds.
Paredes for Austin Meadows. People are like, sure, yeah, Meadows coming off whatever, 100 RBIs, and Paredes is a backup, whatever, utility dude.
I mean, don't forget
How'd that go?
Chris Archer for Glasnow and all
That
that
was
whole crap.
probably the robbery of the decade, that Pirates deal. By the way,
Pirates.
yeah, well, Pirates are
If
the
the Pirates
opposite.
call you, when they call you, take whoever they
You put them on
give
speaker.
them whoever they want.
You put them on speaker. You bring everyone in, and you say, "Please don't hang up. Don't hang up." I
No,
got more.
you want, you'll give us someone else.
But
Okay.
wait, there's more. Perfect timing. The Rays start their series tonight against the Mariners.
It's
for
here.
4
You
games.
should go.
I'm leaving.
Oh, too bad. So sad.
You should go, AJ.
Yeah, you
More
should.
games.
I'm
No,
leaving
he's
too.
leaving too. But here's the important part too. The Orioles and Rays still play 4 games against each other. There's still 3 games left for the Rays against the Angels. You're winning that series. The Angels are tanking. They have a lot of Blue Jays towards the end of the season, which is interesting because Toronto's going to need it, and they can play spoiler / try and get themselves into that top seat in the division. So interesting.